come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win. Now the 2-1. Line drive to Minnesota. Just as the score of the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Had reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A 3-run home run for Bucky Denton. The Yankees now lead by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series.
The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Back to throw. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them away from their faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings long drive left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins.
Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. Just hits it back. Home run.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a chance. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Hey! Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
Thank you, Howard.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the program on another just absolutely gorgeous day here in the upstate of South Carolina. I'm Dan Scott. That is Forrest Stulting, and we've got a good hour lined up for you. A lot of stuff to get to, and hope that you're going to enjoy it. Our goal to try and inform and entertain and maybe learn something we did not know by the time this is over, and that's easier for some of us than it is for others.
It's a fun part of life too, Dan. Love learning stuff.
You doing all right?
Oh yeah, man. Yankees swept the Twins in a 3-game series, and I got a new pin yesterday. Nice bright blue ink, and it was a great day.
Yeah, there are a few things more satisfying in life than a quality ink pen
You got that right.
You can rely on. I am a huge proponent of the Pilot ink pens.
See, I'm more of a Uniball Vision Elite guy. So
I have Pilot ink pens stuck in every bag, everything that I own, in multiple colors.
As you should.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for any situation.
No kidding. So. Today on the show, coming up in a little less than 10 minutes, in fact, Billy Davis is going to be joining us, the former Clemson star, also the former U.S. Secret Service agent. He's going to be here to talk some college football with us. We'll also talk in studio with Furman men's soccer coach Doug Allison. The number 8 team in the country lost their first game of the season at South Carolina on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then Forrest Three Things we'll get in the final segment, and we're going to test a possible new theme song for Forrest's Three Things. He doesn't trust me. He thinks I'm up to something. Now, why in the world would he think something like that?
I have no idea, Dan. I guess it's just an odd feeling I got deep down inside, I guess. I don't know.
Probably an accurate one, too.
Looking forward to hearing what it is.
Probably an accurate one. In any case, we are so glad to have you here with us on the program. Like we say, we've got a lot to get to today. And then tomorrow, we will be doing the show that runs from 10 to 11, and then heading down the steps, and at 11:30 heading out on the bus to the airport and flying to Syracuse, where we will be spending the night on Friday night and busing to the stadium on Saturday for the game against Colgate, which is a 1 p.m. start. I am excited about the game. I love game days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost as excited about where we're going to eat on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
David,
tell him about it, Dan.
David Cobb, our analyst.
Esteemed analyst.
Esteemed analyst, yes. Especially when he's buying dinner.
You got that right.
He has made reservations for us at Delmonico's Italian-American restaurant.
Mm.
And it's a place that was apparently frequented by the likes of Frank Sinatra on a regular basis.
Wow.
Along those lines. And it sounds like it's the type of place that it exactly sounds like, if you know what I mean.
Rubbing elbows with the rich and famous.
Yeah.
So they say.
And the infamous, perhaps, too.
I think you're right.
And then on top of that, one of the two quarterbacks, we're going to a place that's got some of that kind of history. And then one of the two quarterbacks for Colgate's name, and I'm not making this up, is Carmine Scarfone.
Scarfone.
I mean, are you kidding me? Could this...
It's on a tee for you, Dan.
I mean,
all you got to do is hit it and swing it.
Could this get any better? And on top of that, I see in the news today where John Gotti's hitman, Sammy the Bull Gravano, has just been released from prison after serving 15 years of a 20-year prison sentence.
We might see him at Delmonico's. You never know.
Yeah, well, I hope not.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you on that one.
I hope not. I think Sammy may be going back into the witness protection program again. But that's what happens when you turn on.
I have to say what Scott Keeler just wrote. Really nice of Furman football to schedule the flight around the Dan Scott show. So they are looking out for the best of us.
Well, and again, we ain't the best of us. We'll lay claim to it, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
As always, we try to start with what's going on around campus here at Furman to continue to give our athletes here and you fans something you're not getting anywhere else, and that's day-to-day coverage of Furman athletics, which will continue later on in the show with our chat with Doug Allison here in studio. But as always, campus or teams from campus here. Very busy with a weekend that's upcoming. So what we got going on?
All right, well, first I want to highlight Furman women's volleyball. They beat Wofford last night, and it was the opening of the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. They won 3-1, so the Paladins will have distinction. This is a quote straight from Chandler Carver's press release. They will have the distinction of the first ever win inside the building, which I think is just fantastic, Dan.
Did you see that Jerry Richardson was actually in attendance?
Good. I'm glad you saw the loss. And the Paladins were led by Jamila Johnson.
This is what I paid money for?
Yeah. The Paladins were led by Jamila Johnson with 19 kills. Courtney Hoffman had 10 kills and 8 blocks. And Hunter Thompson had 46 assists. I'm not familiar with volleyball stats, Dan, but that sounds like a lot of assists.
It does.
So, moving forward, this weekend is a pretty big weekend for tennis and golf. The women's tennis team will play the Debbie Southern Fall Classic. There will be 11 teams in the tournament, and I believe they were our where did I write this down? 10 teams ranked in the top 50 from the end of last year, which include Clemson, Florida State, Mississippi State, Ohio State, UNC, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Texas, and Wake Forest. So the Debbie Southern Fall Classic runs from Friday to Sunday with a play starting at 9 a.m. every day with singles, and then doubles will go at 1 o'clock. Also this weekend, the 45th Lady Paladin Invitational on the Furman Golf Course, Friday to Sunday. Play starts, I believe, at 9 a.m. tomorrow with the 16 teams in the tournament. I believe that's it.
So they're going to be busy.
It's going to be a busy weekend down here at Furman for sure. And even I'll tell you a bit more about it tomorrow morning with the calendar, because there's much more than just that going on. But since I wanted to kind of put those two tournaments out, because they will start tomorrow morning before the show gets going. So if you have time, go support your lady Paladins on the tennis courts and on the golf course at 9 a.m. starting tomorrow.
All right, good stuff. We're going to go to break a little sooner than we normally would after the trivia question, but let me set this up.
Okay.
Because we have Billy Davis coming up at about 10 after, and then Doug Allison will be here at 10:30 in studio. So we've got those two things to get to, and then Forrest's three things will come up in the final segment of the program. We'll run through them in about the last 10 minutes or so of the show. But let's get to the trivia question, and then I'll do the pitchman stuff.
Right on. All right. The topic is Furman football. Been heavy in Furman football the past few days. I like it too, Dan. But who holds the record for longest punt return in Furman history? And how many yards was the return?
For a touchdown or just any return?
Just any return.
Longest punt return.
I would be
Furman
shocked if this wasn't a touchdown. I'll say that much.
Okay. Longest return in Furman history, punt return in Furman history. Who was it and how many yards?
That's correct.
Okay. There's your trivia question for today. Leave your answers, your guesses in any of the comments section on any of the platforms that you're watching, or you can tweet them to us here at Dan Scott Show. All right, as we get set to go to break, the show is always brought to you by the Atlanta Bread Company, Cherrydale Plaza in Greenville. We still have really nice weather right now, and I remember last year when Jeff said, hey, when the weather's cooler, let's talk about this, and this, and seemingly it didn't get cooler for a long time. But as the weather does start to cool down as we go into the fall and beyond, just remember that they have on their menu hot soups, hot chili, warm paninis. They've got things that kind of...
I'm getting hungry, Dan.
That are really, really good on those cool and even cold days. And don't forget that the people there are simply fantastic. Stop by and see them. Tell them you heard about them here on the program. And as we go to break, here's a little more from the Atlanta Bread Company. Back with Billy Davis on the other side. The Atlanta Bread Company wants to make your dining experience as convenient as possible, especially if you're ordering takeout. Go online to atlantabreadcompany.com, place your order there, and pay for it too. Then, when you get to the restaurant at Cherrydale Point, you breeze right by the cash registers and go straight to the pickup counter where your food will be waiting. And speaking of food, try the new Shrimp Po' Boy, a delicious and surprisingly healthy addition to the already great menu. That's the Atlanta Bread Company, Cherrydale Point in Greenville.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT unpimmented cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR cell phone repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
You know, I love it when everything works the way it's supposed to.
Oh, you love it, yeah.
And usually when it doesn't, it is what we like to describe in the business as operator error. And that's what we're kind of dealing with at the moment here. But we got it, and we're back on the program. Good to have you with us, Dan Scott, for Stulting. As we continue on the Thursday edition of the program, we are going to the celebrity guest line and bringing in our good friend Billy Davis, the former Clemson 2 Sports star, former U.S. Secret Service agent, and now works for, does high-level security for the Billy Graham Evangelical Association and Samaritan's Purse. And despite all that, he still makes time for us on a regular basis. How you doing, buddy?
Great, Dan. Thanks for having me on once again.
Well, thank you for being available to be on. Hey, one of the couple of directions we thought we would go today, every college football player has to prove himself at one way or at one time or another, and really every person has to do that at some stage of their life. And I'm going down that road thinking of Kelly Bryant coming into this season as much of an unknown as you can be and have been in the program for 2 years. And having to prove himself to not only the fans, but even, I think, to his own teammates. And he's done that. Just drawing on your experience about that, gaining the respect, gaining the trust of your teammates first, and proving yourself. I thought that might be an interesting discussion that we could get into today.
Yeah, I think, when you, as a college football player or a college athlete in general, whatever your sport is, whether it's volleyball or baseball or football, when you're around your teammates, I'm almost sure that the other guys there at Clemson, Kelly's teammates, knew exactly what Kelly was capable of doing because they've worked out with him, gone to class with him, eaten meals with him, seen him grow and see how he conducted himself while he was backing up arguably the greatest football player in Clemson history, if not one of the top one or two. So those guys probably aren't surprised at all. And after talking to the coaching staff and the people that are in the know there at Clemson, I don't believe they're surprised either. I think most of the folks that are surprised are the media, the college football analysts and the regular fans out there that didn't really know much about Kelly because they just had a very small snapshot over the last 2 years of him coming in. And, you heard all the stories about he couldn't throw the football, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. Well, he wasn't really given an opportunity in any kind of situation to, when you're out there with the first team and to prepare as a first team quarterback, which is totally different preparing as a backup than it is as a first teamer. And I can attest to that based on a person I backed up for the better part of 3 years, Terry Kennard. It's much different when you're the starting player, whether it's a free safety or quarterback, as it is when you're backing up. So I think it's just a testament to Kelly Bryant, what kind of kid he is, that he's been able to deliver so far in these 3 games. I mean, if you're not surprised, I honestly was too, because I had no idea. I talked to the folks down at Clemson about him, and they're all very extremely positive reviews. But once again, it's a lot different from practice and spring games, so on and so forth, than it is when you're out there on national television. But it is the preparation is different, and I just really am happy for him so far, the way he's delivered, especially when he went up against the defending Heisman Trophy winner there in Lamar Jackson.
You say that his teammates knew who he was and what he was about and how good he was, but did they really? And what I mean by that, they see him in practice every day. They saw him in the mop-up roles over the last couple of years, but even they really couldn't know, in my estimation, and maybe I'm wrong, they couldn't know when the lights were the brightest exactly what they had as far as a starting quarterback here. Or am I completely wrong about that?
Well, I don't know if you're completely wrong. You may be 50-50 on that. I do. I think if you're around a guy for 2 years, going on 3 years, and you see how he handled himself, not only on the field, but in the meetings and in the weight room and in the classroom, and what kind of obviously it seems to me, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but it appears to me that he has grown into that position. And as you well know, the quarterback position is like no other on the football team, because everyone looks to you when you walk in. Everyone looks to you to be the leader and make the plays, and everybody protects the quarterback because he's the meal ticket. If you don't have a good quarterback, whether it's the National Football League or the Atlantic Coast Conference, you are not going to win football games. Period. End of story in this day and age. So you can't hide it. So I don't know if they were surprised, but I think they had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. Because if you see a guy perform in practice, when the lights come on, but they've got a pretty good idea of how he can deliver the football and how he conducts himself. So, and I'm sure if you talk to those guys, they're like, yeah, well, he's shown out more than I thought he would, but we had a pretty good idea he was going to deliver.
Hey, Billy Forrest here. There's been a pretty drastic increase in the targeting penalties called over the first 3 weeks of the season. Can you kind of talk about what you think about the rule, and is it a good rule, or are they implementing the rule right? And just kind of talk about what your perspective is on the targeting rule in college football.
Oh man, Forrest, you're gonna get me going, aren't you? Again?
I think so. That's my job, man.
You can get Billy all. You just threw a rock in the hornet's nest on that one. I think it is absolutely absurd the way they call that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a defensive back and a guy that played in those positions, coming across the middle, ball thrown up. I mean, what they did with Tanner. With Muse, I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, I know they call that, and I'm sure this is what led you to ask this question. By the rule of law, if we were in a court, yes, that was a penalty, and he should have been ejected. But the way that thing is set up is anytime you're a defensive back and if you don't go in with your head up, if you're going to tackle somebody and the quarterback or the running back or the wide receiver or the tight end, whoever it may be, just happens to drop his head into your line of trajectory and you hit head to head, then they're going to call a penalty on you. I mean, it's just the game moves way too fast, and there's no way you can control yourself once you commit to make a tackle. It blows my mind how we've come that far where everything. I mean, I know they're trying to protect the players, but the fact of the matter is, the way it's set up now, it's almost like the guys are going to be scared to tackle anybody at all. I'm not saying that going in with your head down is the proper way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes as a defensive back or a linebacker or whatever the case may be on defense, when you're flying into that ball, especially against a guy like Lamar Jackson, who could lose you in a millisecond.
Yep.
I think it's just absurd how far it's come now, and it seems we've had so many guys over the course of the last couple of years get that targeting call, and I can remember. I want to say it. One of our linebackers, Stephon Anthony, got thrown out of the South Carolina game a couple of years ago and missed the first half of the ACC championship game because he got a targeting call on him. It wasn't even that; he just bumped him with the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have really, the way that things have come. I understand player safety and I understand all the concussion things, but I don't agree with the way it's set up right now. It's a no-win situation. And if that's the case, if you're running back and every time you lower your head, and we see that all the time, correct?
Yeah.
I'm watching SportsCenter right now, and I'm watching guys run the football, and when contact is coming, what do running backs do? They lower their shoulder and lower their head.
Mm-hmm.
But targeting is never called on the running back. It's always called on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So
now you obviously touched on the player safety. I think that's definitely a good thing to be watching for. But there's, as people have said, this is just too inconsistent of a call. And is there a way to kind of find that in between the gray area and kind of weed out the plays where it shouldn't be targeting and plays where it should be targeting? Or is there just like a rule where you're going to have a double-edged sword and not really find a good home for it at all?
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword myself, Forrest. And I mean, I don't – the way it's set up now, if you really wanted to do it, you'd have somebody who could review it. They review everything else, but they go back and review it, and it's a cut and dry. There's no gray area whatsoever. If you hit someone with the top of your helmet, period, end of story, they call it targeting, whether or not it was intentional. And a lot of time, I would say 95% of those things aren't intentional. Guys are not going in to crush somebody with the top of their helmet. It's just the way the play, as fast as the play happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's ridiculous. Well, and if you want to do that, what I would suggest, if you're going to call that, and that's the way it's set up. Okay, if you hit somebody with the top of your helmet, and it's just what happened to Muse, okay? Well, 15-yard penalty, personal foul, just like they do in soccer. You get a yellow card. Okay, you get one shot. You've been warned, just like a sideline warning. What they do. The second time you do it in the game, then you're ejected, but not the first time. And that way, if you do it twice in one game, then maybe you've got a problem. But I don't believe for the first time you get ejected. It's 15-yard penalty, personal foul. You're on warning, and then at number 19, he's got one mark against him. If he does it again in the game, then he's ejected.
Well, and that's the way they do it with unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
right.
If you get two of those in a game, you're ejected. So, to me, that's a logical solution to the situation. But again, as we know, when you're dealing with the NCAA and things like this, that's applying logic to an illogical situation a lot of times.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But that's what I would suggest. It's pretty, I mean, it makes sense on a bunch of levels. But I think we've run so scared now of lawsuits and concussions and everything else that instead of just somebody saying, okay, well, all right, first time, got it, yellow card. Second time, you're gone. And I think people would be a lot more amenable to that. So, I mean, it's a violent game. I mean, things are going to happen. And a lot of times just by accident. That's just the way it happens. I don't believe he was going in there targeting Lamar Jackson, but the way, Jackson slipped down, his head went down, he went in, and that was that. So,
yeah, and the rub comes, Billy, quite honestly, I find myself agreeing with what you're saying, and then I read the story that I'm reading on CBSSports.com right now where a kid by the name of Robert Graves from Midwestern State died this weekend after suffering a neck injury while making a tackle in a game against Texas A&M Kingsville. To me, along with all the other possible solutions we're talking about, we've got to go back to the grassroots level with this thing. We've got to start teaching at the lowest level of Pee Wee football the proper fundamentals in tackling, so when they get to that stage in their high school, college, and maybe professional careers, it's like anything else, and you know this, especially you hear this mostly in baseball, but it's muscle memory. If you learn to do it right and you do it right all the time, you're going to do it right when it matters the most, and that starts with teaching fundamentals at the very earliest age.
That's true. What I will add to that is that it's a violent game. I read about that young man, that tragedy, yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, it's amazing if you just sit, like we all do, on one college football Saturday and see the amount of violent hits, tackles, then you go to the next on Sunday and watch the same thing, where these huge bodies are flying around at warp speed, slamming into each other, and there are not more injuries like that, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's pretty amazing that what the human body can withstand on those impacts. Because I can assure you, at 55 years old, my neck and back and my vertebrae, I feel it almost every day from the impact I took 30 plus years ago. It's starting to catch up with me. And I know for a fact that's exactly what it is, because I can tell you some of the hits I took, that exactly where it hurt, and now I'm paying the price for it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. Maybe like a lot of teams do. I think the Seattle Seahawks brought in a rugby player and or a rugby coach, and they went over and practice how they tackle in rugby, because rugby's a tough game, but you cannot physically hit people as hard without pads and a helmet on, and as you can in a rugby uniform. People would actually perish.
I'd take it a step further, and I would I would take him to an Australian rules football game. You want to see some rough dudes, man.
Oh yeah,
Australian rules football. That's a whole other level there. As we continue our chat with Billy Davis, the former Clemson star, as we try to do every week when his schedule allows. We got Billy kind of revved up.
Yeah, I
again
did.
Today.
Damn. That's unintentional.
Yeah, well,
but
an old defensive guy. That's just you're always on defense. Everything, but that's what I would do. Yeah, you get me all revved up. I appreciate that. I need to keep going this morning.
Yeah, well, that's that's part of the job.
Yeah,
try to get you all, because you remember that this whole relationship started with me getting you fired up those many years ago, and had a role in some things that went on. That's kind of a small role, but a role in some things that went on that kind of changed the culture over at Clemson a little bit. So,
well, yeah, that goes back to, like we've talked about before a few times on your show, to January of 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got all fired up and started talking about Clemson and support. And the next thing you know, not that I had anything to do with it, but some people made some changes, and now you look at a program that right now appears to be the envy of everybody in college football, with the exception of the folks down in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I give Mickey Plyler a lot of credit during that time, because he was beating that drum consistently during the morning show, and it got under the skin of some of the folks over there, as we found out a little bit later on. But I think the interview that we did that day played a small role, and I can tell you this: during my entire time over there in 11 years, that was the most response I ever got for any interview that I ever did. And I got some awfully big responses on some awfully big interviews, but really nothing compared to that.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun to sit back, and it's a lot of fun to listen to it. I still have it somewhere on my iPod or something.
Oh, I've got it as well.
Yeah, and to see how it's all changed for Coach Sweeney. Like we said, stick with him. He's got a plan. You just have to be patient, and you have to have everybody, rowing in the same direction. And obviously, you can see from the Board of Trustees over there to President Clements to the athletic director, Dan Radakovich, and then his predecessor, obviously Terry Don Phillips, to Coach Sweeney and the support staff that he's built over there. I mean, it is a machine. They got it going on right now.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent we're starting to see, I think anyway, some of those same steps being taken here at Furman.
I would say so.
When you're starting to get everybody from administration down onto the same page, and what tells me it's happening is the extreme increase we've seen in fundraising.
Yes,
dedicated
all across the board.
Athletic department wide, but specifically in this case talking about football. Sure. And when the dollars start coming in, Billy, as you know, and we got to wrap it up here in just a minute, but when the dollars start coming in, that means that regardless of what may or may not be happening on the field, people are starting to buy what you're selling, and that means they believe in the people who are putting the product out there.
You absolutely. Furman is what a fantastic school institution that is there in Greenville. And I look at a place, it's a state school, but James Madison University up in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is an FCS school as well. And they have grown by leaps and bounds. Now everybody wants to be a part of Madison. They won the FCS championship last year. And people want to be around success, and people want to be associated with it. And contrary to popular belief, like I said before, you can have a great academic institution, and you can also have a great football program. They can work hand in hand and feed off of each other, and everybody wants to be a part of it. And the next thing you know, your applications go up. More people want to go there, and success breeds success. Hopefully the folks down there at Furman are on the right track.
Seems that they would be. So we'll get a chance to follow the story as it continues to unfold here. Hey, Billy,
are you going up to Colgate?
Yes,
going up there?
Yes, we are. We're flying up tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Well, good luck. Good luck. Enjoy yourself up there. Hopefully they come out with a win.
Hey, you'll get a kick out of this. I was telling Forrest and the listeners and viewers before we got you on. We are going to dinner on Friday night at Delmonico's Italian American Steakhouse.
Oh yeah.
And they play two quarterbacks, and one of the quarterbacks' name is Carmine Scarfone.
There you go. That's something right out of The Godfather.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Hey, Billy, we'll talk to you next week, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a
thanks,
safe
Billy.
trip. Talk to you next week.
All
Bye-bye.
right, that's our good friend Billy Davis. Good to have him with us again, as always. As we step out to go to break, a word about CPR Cell Phone Repair. They're located in Cherrydale Plaza. If you have a crack in your screen is busted, go see them. I did. My iPhone was just all messed up, and they replaced the screen, got it done in about 30 minutes. They say they can do the iPhones in an hour. They got mine done a little quicker than that, but it's really quick. It's really cost-effective, and if you have another phone brand and style, they can do just about anything, usually the same day, and that includes tablets. They also can do computers and gaming systems, and not just the screens. They can take care of replacing hard drives as well. They sell refurbished phones and tablets. They have new accessories for those phones and tablets, and they have a brand new owner, Janet Culver. So stop by and see them today. CPR Cell Phone Repair, Cherrydale Plaza, 864-282-9097, as you see there on your screen. All right, you also see now our next guest is in studio. When we come back, Doug Allison will join us, and we're going to hold him to something he said last week. He's got some baseball trivia for Forrest and I. Thought we forgot, didn't you? Yeah, you better remember the question, even if you don't know the answer. We can all. We'll be back after this. This is the Dan Scott Show. Don't go away.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT unpimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
So you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. .35, and we're back on this gorgeous day here in the upstate of South Carolina. Our edition of the Twitter feed via Periscope has given us, opened up something of an international audience. We have people who from time to time drop in just to see what's going on. Noel was in just a moment ago, and of course we've got some folks here who are Furman fans who are checking it out as well, or should be in class. Grant Sherman. Say hello to Dennis and DJ Survivor and Francesco and Wayne and all sorts of other people. Our regular cast of characters from the Facebook Live feed is here, and this guy has become a regular in our cast of characters. He is the men's soccer coach here at Furman. Doug Allison,
hey,
how
Dan.
are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you.
And we see these are the kind of guys we are. We brought you back, even though you're not undefeated anymore. we still wanted to talk to you, Doug. We're not front runners.
We're just so kind.
I thought that was a caveat there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I little tired this morning. Early
practice.
Morning practice, right?
Yeah, just trying to get them awake and up, ready for Garner Webb for Saturday and the Greg Griffin game this weekend. So.
Yeah, which is something we want to spend some time talking about. Let's look back though at the South Carolina game that stopped your season opening winning streak. Go to your alma mater, you get beat 1-0. Just kind of take us through it.
Yeah, well, but since we met, we actually went to PC and we won that game.
Right.
Hopefully you remember that too.
I do.
So we won that. That was important for my two other assistant coaches who both played at PC. Yeah. So that was tough, and they're actually very tough this year. They tied Duke at Duke. They beat Greensboro at Greensboro. Then we went in on Saturday afternoon, and we ended up winning 2-1. And Connor Hubbard, our local Eastside High School boy, scored a really nice game winner as well, which was nice. So that brought us to 6-0. But then South Carolina is always very tough. And Charlie Arndt, my assistant, and myself obviously played there, so that was a big event for us. But honestly, our guys really didn't give the effort, we weren't prepared enough or ready to play as I wanted them to play. And I think we could be the better team if we showed up better. So that's definitely a coaching staff and players, the whole team. We've got to be better when we go into those kind of places.
Can you put your finger on any one thing or any one reason maybe, or is it just one of those games?
There was a plethora of stuff. There's guys. There's most guys. One or two or three guys have a bad night. We still do fine. When different guys are passing the ball out of bounds or running the wrong way or wait a minute. This isn't how we've been. Hopefully this is a blip. But and they're a good team. They've had a couple of special players. They've only had one shot on goal and they scored on it. Yeah. And that's soccer sometimes too. Towards the last 10 minutes, we really had them pinned back and a couple of moves, and Josiah drives in. Connor makes a nice kind of fish hook looping run, and if he just slides the ball in, and he's in, but the ball's hit too hard. And those things have been very, very good this year. So we just a little bit more focus, I think, is important. And Tuesday night games aren't easy. Driving down there after class and stuff, and then getting them prepared for such a big event, 3,000 or 4,000 people at the game. But that's good teams can win those games.
It seems to me like I was at the game on Tuesday night in Columbia, and that we dominated possession for almost the entirety of the game, but they were just a little bit more have a quicker step in the midfield, especially.
I think they were certainly first to the ball, and that's an issue. We typically are. We pride ourselves on being first to the ball and then being able to kind of be sharp, little 1-2s around different guys and stuff. But they were sharper than us, no question. And they had. And excuse me, they were in Marshall. They just lost to Marshall on the Saturday. We were at PC. We won a game, so the momentum was going our way. So you never know in this sport. I mean, Ken Pettis said, he goes, "You got the craziest sport I've ever seen." I mean, you can dominate possession, but that doesn't matter. All those stats don't matter. What matters is the scoreboard at the end, and they beat us.
Well, it goes back to something we were talking about with Andrew Burr yesterday. In a 3-game stretch, they outshot their opponents 75-8, and they went 0-2-1 in those 3 games.
Wow!
And now, how does something like that happen?
Stats are so misleading, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, because they can throw you off. I mean, I can't remember where we were at Denver or Air Force. They were getting shots for just passing the ball to the in their half, and just like shoot or chipping the ball or whatever it is, and then there's another shot on the scoreboard. I'm like, wait a minute. But you never can tell in this sport. It is one of the only sports in the world that you could possibly dominate and lose. And that's what happened to Andrew, I think, in one of his games, at UAB or something like that.
Presbyterian.
Yeah. But it's a tough sport that way, and it's a cruel sport too. But good teams can win those games. And we should have stepped up and won that game. I thought this was our chance to beat them at their place, which we haven't done in a couple of years. So
2008, I believe.
Yeah.
So did you see it coming at all? I mean, how was all these little things you're talking about against South Carolina? Were they all where they should have been in the PC game?
Yeah, but you could see a little bit of it coming down. I mean, PC is a tough place to play on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and got a very spongy field. It's very sapping, energy sapping. So, it took a lot of energy out of us. I mean, we had to win the game 2-1, but to keep the streak going. But we picked up a couple of knocks, but no excuses. We should have been better. We should have played better. We should have executed better. We should have. We're going to have to stop Ken and Jordan coming on a bus or something. It's the first time they've been on a bus. I'm like, all right, we're not doing that. They can drive separately next time. But you never know. I mean, we've eaten at the same place. We've gone to the place at the same time. We've the same warm up, and then all of a sudden, they come out and they're sharper than us, and you just can't tell. It's college students sometimes,
Right.
You can't tell.
Yeah, when you choose to make your living based on how 18 to 22-year-olds perform.
That's why you get gray hair.
Need your head examined. That's Doug Allison. He is the men's soccer coach here at Furman. But the reality situation is, if you win 6 of every 7 games as the season goes on,
we'll be fine.
You're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll be fine that way. Yeah, I hope so. But no, you go back to that point. I mean, they stay the same age, and they're always 18 to 21, and we've got a German who's probably 22 or 23. But most of them, we just are the ones getting older, and they stay the same. And they make the similar stuff. We're trying to, in college soccer, in college sports, is who can actually capitalize on mistakes. Because a lot of mistakes are made. That's why they're not professionals, and they are making some mistakes. And we weren't sharp. We should have marked that guy. You saw the guy came in. It was a nice goal.
Beautiful cross from the right side. Yeah.
Good cross, good finish, and that number 7 was a very good player. Very good player. But we should have marked him.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean that's something that we addressed with our center backs, and we've got to be better than that. We showed them the film. We've done different things with the film, and we got to get back to what's made us successful, and that's hard work. Our team is just full of hard work this year. It's not necessarily the most talented teams go the furthest. And I talked to Graham Seagraves last night. He was one of our captains in the past, and Field's named for him. Had dinner with him, and we talked about his teams and going to the Final 8 in Connecticut and beating Wake Forest 4-0 on the road in the NCAAs and that. And we didn't have that talented a team. We had chemistry and hard-nosed players that will not take losing, And the next year, we go. I think we were 23-2 that year, and we only lost to Santa Clara in regular season, and we were in the top 3 or 4. And if we'd beaten Connecticut, we would have been in the Final 4 against Santa Clara. So it was. I want to get back to that kind of stage. I'm like, Graham, what made us successful? Because there was a chemistry. Because we weren't necessarily talented. We had 1 or 2 players like John Barry Newsom or a couple of guys like that were very, very good. But the whole spine of the team was hard-nosed, blue-collar.
Top to bottom, essentially.
Yes, and you look at our Kansas boys and Lawrence and Kevin on our team, and there's some big, strong lads.
Oh, yeah.
That I wouldn't want to play against. So
Lawrence is fierce in the midfield. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that much. Just watching his body language out there.
Yeah.
He wants to win for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears now and talk about Saturday. I mean, we can do a little scouting report on Gardner Webb if you like, but there's a bigger picture at play here in the Gray Griffin Memorial game, and I know this is something that's very close to your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mr. Griffin, Al Griffin, will be here on the weekend, and we celebrate Gray's life and remember him, and it just seems further and further away and longer ago that he passed away.
Can you, for those who may not be familiar with the story,
Gray was a freshman here. He was the captain of the under-17 national team in the World Cup, and we had 5 of those guys here as freshmen and sophomores, including Clint Dempsey and all those guys as sophomores. Gray was a freshman. He was possibly the best one. He was a captain of the national team, North Carolina boy. Came home and he unfortunately, tragically, was killed in a car crash after going home after a game on a Tuesday. Went home to his parents. They went to a concert. Went back to his parents. There's 3 other boys there, and they were going to stay the night at his parents. And then he was driving back to go to class. And unfortunately, the car overturned on the way back. He fell asleep at the wheel and was killed. And it was that was some very tough years. I mean, just awful, but kind of defines different people and different the way our program was defined then. And it was really, really tough. We lost several players, and great players, but just great kids. And he so we want to always remember him. We never want to forget his memory. It's a tough thing to always bring up, but I need to do it. I want to do it. I want to tell our guys how fragile life is and how it's very important to embrace what you have. And Mr. Griffin graciously comes back, and we'll announce an MVP from our team of the game and that kind of stuff. But we also have a Gray Griffin trophy at the end of the year, which I give to a graduating senior every year that embodies everything about Gray: his spirit, his life, the fact the work he did with kids, how much kids. He was like the Pied Piper of soccer at that time. He was such a big name. Going to the funeral and just seeing the amount of people that couldn't fit in the church was a testament to that. But people that embody his spirit, someone that would always come in every 2 or 3 times a week and sit in my face at me and go, "Coach, what are you doing?" And challenge me. He goes, "What are we doing here? What's going on? How are you doing?" And how many student athletes do that?
Especially freshmen.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Gray, you're a pain in the butt. I got some work to do." He goes, "Yeah, but Coach, we need to talk about it." And it was always that. And I'm like, "God, you know what? You missed that stuff." You don't realize it's there until it's not there. So he was a special kid.
So that is this Saturday at 7 o'clock against Gardner Webb, first of back-to-back home games you have, which is going to feel a little strange as well.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. Staying home, sleeping in your own bed. It's good. So get Andrew off that pitch. So it's going to be good. Hopefully get a good crowd for that as well. I think it's the scarf night as well, so they'll be giving the first 100 people away, 100 people here get scarves. And I'm going to try and see if Jordan will do, because Gray was number 12, and at the 12th minute hold the scarves up in honor of Gray as well. So see if we can get that going.
Does Gray's father address the team?
Yes. Absolutely, I ask him to, and and our guys are obviously very respectful of that. But he's a brave man to come back. That was our only child, and having kids myself, I just can't imagine. I couldn't do it. What he does, and he comes back and he talks about Gray. He'd be about 33 now, 32, 33. It was just hard to believe. He was just 18.
Yeah, because in your mind, he'll always be that 18 years old.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it's heartbreaking stuff, but at the same time, it's good stuff. It's really, really it's a wonderful thing that you're keeping his memory alive, and that you're doing this with his father and the family, and him coming back and infusing that into your team, because we were just talking about a young man at a football program last week on Saturday, went to make a tackle, college football player. Suffered a catastrophic neck injury and died. He was taken just like that. You just never know.
That's awful.
You absolutely never know. Yeah. So to do this and to continue to send that message to your players, I think is a great thing.
Well, I appreciate that, Dan, because it is important. The 2 most important dates for me on our schedule are the Gray Griffin game and the Quinn game, and just because of our alumni and how much they mean to me, and how much of a family we are. We want to honor Gray, and then honestly, with McNeil Cronin with the Quinn game, honor his daughter and the Down syndrome and raise awareness for that. So that's the first couple of things I put on the calendar each year to say these are important dates. Put them on your calendar. Make sure we come out and support these guys, and remember that again, your college career is not that long. It's
especially soccer career. You only play so many games in a year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and your life, you never know. Like you said, with that football player too, you never know when your last day is. So try and make the most of it, enjoy it, and celebrate it. And we definitely want to celebrate Gray.
Well, I know this game is on a Saturday, but the Quinn game on October the 10th is on a Tuesday. Maybe I can reach out to McNeil and see how early he's coming to campus. Maybe he and Quinn could come up here and spend a little time with us.
Oh, they love that. I'm not sure if he'll come in the day before because it's 7, but hopefully he that would be very nice and be good for you guys to. I think you've interviewed him before.
Yes,
so,
yes, I have.
He's tremendous. What a great player he was, but what a dad. You know, just to have Quinn, and she's lovely. She's a pistol. She's already wearing her Furman top right now. He said. I talked to her. He emailed me last week.
She's ready.
She's
man.
ready for the game. She's ready to come.
I love it.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Saturday at 7:00, Gardner Webb, and it's a Greg Griffin Memorial game. So we urge you to go out and check that out. Furman football is on the road. You'll have plenty of time to listen to the Paladins at Colgate. You can watch it if you want, but turn the sound down, listen to us, what we always encourage. And then come out and support the soccer program at Stone Stadium for the Greg Griffin Memorial game. And then you'll also play VMI at home on Tuesday of next week before we have a chance to talk to you again.
Yeah, we start the conference play on Tuesday. So this is our last regular season non-conference game. So, hopefully we're prepared for the conference, which is what obviously is the most important thing.
Yep. All right, now do you want to try to stump Forrest and I before you get out of here?
All right. Here's the question, and I don't know if I should give the answer. Do you want people to write in, or do you want people to call in, or what do you want? If you guys know,
then the backstory on this is Clint Hill, who played soccer for you and played baseball here.
Yes, yeah.
You used to get Clint's goat with this because
he didn't know.
You being the soccer guy.
Yeah. I wasn't supposed to know.
Not a baseball guy.
I have no idea.
You knew this and he didn't, right?
I knew one thing, and that was it.
Okay.
It really upset him. But he said, "You're supposed to know cricket." And I'm like, "I'll know cricket. I'll explain." He made me explain cricket for an hour one day, and he goes, "I know cricket. I wanted you to do it." You know? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "That's not fair,
That's
Clint."
Hill in a nutshell.
Yeah,
right
absolutely. You made me do that for an hour, and he was just ribbing me. So I got him for 4 or 5 years on this. Question is, and it's such it seems like an easy question, but who invented the baseball glove? Is the question.
Who invented the baseball glove?
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing for baseball, because cricket we didn't have gloves except for the wicket keeper or a batsman to protect their knuckles, but the wicket keeper had the big. But everyone in baseball seems to have a glove, so it's an important thing to have.
I'm gonna guess Rawlings.
Should I tell you, or should I wait for you guys to? I'm gonna.
I know
that you guys don't straight.
I know
away,
this.
It's great.
I know this much. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but the first player to wear a glove in professional competition was back in the late 1800s, and he was a catcher. And he actually took a glove and cut the fingers out of the glove, but had padding in here. So,
does that make you any closer to the answer?
I don't know.
I don't think so, Dan.
I tell you what, though, and let me give you a clue. You're pretty close to the answer with that.
Really?
You're pretty close.
Wow.
That's a little cryptic clue there for you.
Oh.
Okay. So I think people should there should be a little competition for you right
That's
here.
a tough
They should
question.
win something right here. So
I'm, if you think in manufacturers, I would go A.G. Spalding.
All right. Nowhere near it.
But nowhere near it.
No.
Okay. Anyway. All right.
You're nowhere near it, but you are pretty close to the answer.
Okay.
Think about that.
Man.
Typical soccer guy.
Come on.
Let's see.
Oh, intelligent? I like that.
Before you go, let's see. Is anybody? Nobody's taken a shot.
Not yet.
Nobody's taken a shot at it yet. So, what's the answer?
I think we should wait. I tell you
We'll
next week.
We'll give it a week. Yeah,
give you a
about
week.
that,
I give
yeah.
you a week because I want you to struggle with this one.
You can't sleep. You know why?
I like Forrest.
I'm not going to lose your sleep over it. I can Google it right now.
No, you can't.
that's weak, Dan. That's
just,
weak.
that is so.
I said
That's
a typical football guy.
Yeah, that's a typical football guy. Get the answer. Think of it.
No, I'm
Come on, get old school, Dan.
I'm a baseball guy. That's
And
the thing.
now it's really upsetting you.
I'm a
Like Clint
baseball
Hill.
guy.
You're starting to look like Clint Hill. If Clint Hill can't call in, there's something wrong.
Yeah. All right. Our former guest, Doug Allison. Doug, as always, man, we appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
We'll be
Doug.
back
You're welcome.
with just a couple of minutes to run through the highlights of Forrest Three Things and debut what could be Forrest's new theme song.
Oh,
Forrest
boy.
Three Things. You might want to hear this, Doug. We'll be
We'll
back
see.
right after this. Don't go away.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT unpimiented cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget the gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR cell phone repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR cell phone repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. All right, welcome back to the show. Dan Scott. That's Forrest. Good to have you with us. Hope that everything is going well with you as we come down the home stretch here with just a few minutes left before we wrap it up. Who invented the baseball?
That was a fun segment right there,
Yeah,
Dan.
it was.
That was a lot of fun.
I'll figure it out.
I don't know, man. It sounds like it's a tough question, and I'm not sure if you know the answer to it or not without Googling.
Without Googling. Well,
Without
I can promise you I don't know it without Googling.
Well, that's no
Hey.
fun. Hey, Coach.
Okay. All right, we can do it. I'll be here until about 2 o'clock.
I'll probably be back by probably about 1:30 or so.
Okay. All right, sounds good. It's live radio,
Yeah.
live video.
Coach Hendricks right there. He's got to go to Greer. So
Touchdown Club. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
his coach's responsibilities never cease.
You got that right.
Never
yeah.
cease. All right. Forrest Three Things.
Oh boy.
You've been waiting all show for this, right?
I kind of forgot about during the Doug Allison segment because that was a lot of fun, but I'm definitely anticipating this this intro theme supposedly.
Well, yeah, maybe. I haven't
see.
made a decision yet.
All
But
right,
this is
all right.
because I told you back at the very beginning that we needed to come up with an intro,
Yeah.
and I dug deep into the archives for this.
Oh man, is that a good thing or a bad thing? We'll find out.
Well, I guess we'll find out. But anyway, it is. It is time for Forrest Three Things.
Oh man,
I love it. I think this suits you well.
What am I, Dan? An alien or something? Come on. What is that?
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. I have 4 tickets to the next Furman home game. If anybody could tell me who that was.
Yeah, I've never heard it before. I don't think so. Oh gosh. That's what you were singing before the show, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Oh my God!
If anybody can tell me who that is,
man.
I've got 4 tickets to the next for East Tennessee State a week from Saturday.
That's correct. Yeah.
So,
oh man.
Boy, Mark Normington, you are so close. You have no idea. No idea. Anyway, just give us the headlines of your 3 things.
Aaron Judge hits home run 45. Giancarlo Stanton hits number 56, and Sale reaches 300 Ks in the season last night.
First pitcher to
first AL pitcher to do it since
99,
and the first pitcher since Clayton Kershaw did it in 2015. College football has seen a 73% increase in the number of targeting penalties in the first 3 weeks. In 214 games, there have been 55 targeting penalties called last year. There were only 35 called in the first 3 weeks. In more games, nonetheless, too. Thing 3, games of the week, in my opinion, TCU travels to Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State takes that one in a close game between Oklahoma State's offense against TCU's defense. Mississippi State travels to Athens, Georgia to take on the Bulldogs. It's the Battle of the Dogs this week. And I think Mississippi State will win this one behind a really impressive performance behind Nick Fitzgerald. And the State defense will shut down Jacob Fromm and Michelle and Chubb on the offensive side of the ball. I think Fromm will have some trouble throwing the football, and that will leave Chubb and Michelle nowhere to go in the holes up front. And then Penn State travels to Iowa this weekend, and I think Iowa will shock the Nittany Lions in an upset.
Thought you were doing your upsets tomorrow.
I am, but this is just the games of the week.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll get these 3 are the top games of the week in my opinion. And
okay.
And the upsets are no indication of the games of the week, I guess.
I got you.
So yeah,
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's both first test for both teams this week. Iowa face Wyoming and Josh Allen. I think they'll kind of shut down Tracy McSorley of Penn State, and we'll kind of shut down the Nittany Lions offense.
Nobody will ever confuse me with being a Penn State fan by any stretch of the imagination. I've never liked them during the Joe Paterno era, mostly because of the yearly matchups with West Virginia when I was growing up.
Yep.
But you're really not just not liking Penn State. I think you're just disrespecting Penn State. Going back to last week.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the good team up there in not College Station, but Happy Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Valley.
College Park.
College Park. Yeah.
No, College Park is Maryland.
Maryland. Yep.
Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. Yep. And I also do want to mention this about the Aaron Judge thing. This is pretty cool. I am a little biased about this being a Yankees thing, though. He is the 7th Yankee to hit 45 home runs behind Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Maris, and A-Rod. And he's the 3rd rookie to have 100 runs, 100 RBIs, and 100 walks. Al Rosen and Ted Williams did it as well.
Okay. Good stuff. Trivia question answer?
We do. There's a few on this dates.
All right.
There's a couple baseball and a couple big for football
okay.
too as well. Also, Gale Harris is the last player to hit a home run as a New York Giant. Yogi Berra hits his last home run on this date in 1963, his 358th home run. This is a catcher-heavy one right here, Dan. Jason Kendall in 1998 steals his 26th bag and his new NL record for catchers.
Okay.
And this is my favorite one of all, Dan. Lance Berkman homers for the 7th straight time on September 21st. How odd is that? That's a record, too, by the way.
7 straight times on the same date?
Yeah. In 2007. And then in 2008, the last game was played at Yankee Stadium.
Old Yankee
Stadium in a win, 7-3 over the Orioles. And then 1968, Darrell Royal unveils the new formation called the Wishbone. And he wins 2 national championships behind that. And in 1970 is the first Monday Night Football game. The Cleveland Browns beat the New York Jets 31-21.
All right. There you go. Trivia?
Trivia question. Topic, Furman football.
Of course.
Who holds the record for longest punt return in Furman history? Did not see the correct answer.
So that answer then would be?
Vince Perrone. 88 yards against ETSU in 1973.
Cool. Vince Perrone.
Yeah.
We have a golf tournament around here named after him.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm. All right, good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Forrest.
Oh, God. I got a feeling this is going to stick.
Well, the people on Facebook Live like it anyway. So.
Oh, man. No. Man,
try
good.
getting that out of your head as the day goes on.
That's good
Thank
stuff.
you very much. All right, we've got to get out of here. Busy day. Thanks to Billy Davis for joining us via phone. Thanks to Doug Allison for being with us here in studio. We will be back here tomorrow, and joining us on the show tomorrow, make sure I get the name correct. Among other things we'll be doing on the Friday edition of the program, Eric Malinowski is the play-by-play voice of the Colgate Raiders, and he'll be joining us at 10:25 tomorrow. So we'll get a chance to talk some Colgate football. We'll get a chance to talk some high school football with Scott Keeler, and have a big old football Friday.
It's going to be fun, Dan.
It is.
With a little bit of baseball, though.
A little bit, as always. As always. All right. And by the way, the theme that is the late great Mel Blanc, who did the voices of all of those guesses: Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny, Marvin the Martian, all the great Looney Tunes characters. And he also was a staple on the Jack Benny Show, and he actually did that on stage in one of their skits. He's making that other sound just with his hands, just doing this.
Oh, wow. That's simple.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I can't make the sound at all, but the man of 1,000 voices, Mel Blanc.
Oh,
so again,
man.
try getting this out of your head today.
Yeah.
All right. Until tomorrow, for Forrest and Mel, I'm Dan Scott. Say God bless you. So long, everybody. We will see you later.